Hello everybody, welcome. It really is. Welcome to Lunch Ann Arbor Marketing. My name is Derek Maribon. Thanks for coming. And isn't it look pretty in here with all the holiday stuff? Yeah, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. It really is. So, especially at LA2M and snow today. Yeah, it's a good day. And a good crowd. Wow. Is there anyone here for the very first LA2M meeting? Okay, welcome. Welcome newcomers. Just so you know, we have a really nice website at LA2M.org. You can join our newsletter, or when you signed in, you did join our newsletter, so you'll get updates on our programs. We have a Facebook page, we have a LinkedIn group. Connect with us there, and there's lots of good people in this group. There's about over 1,000, well, we don't really have membership, but there's over 1,000 like member-type people who come, and we do meet every Wednesday here, except for like Christmas and Christmas, right? Thanksgiving, we didn't meet Thanksgiving Wednesday. So Stacy's going to talk to you real quick about something very important. Yeah, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving we didn't meet. Okay, this is Stacy Collett from Delaware County.
Hi everybody, how are you? I just wanted to let you know that the holiday party is coming. And on December 15th, that'll be our last LA2M meeting, and then we're going to take 2 weeks off. The week of Christmas and the week of New Year's. So the last chance to come is Wednesday, December 15th, but we're going to do this one like we did last year. It's a little bit different than the regular meeting. We need you to go to the LA2M website and prepay for the holiday party. It's $15. That includes a beautiful buffet and dessert and drinks. And if everybody would bring a can to donate or a few cans to donate, that would be great. And the rest of the proceeds, after we pay the PayPal fees and all that, we're going to donate to Peace Neighborhood. We're going to give the money this year to Peace Neighborhood, which is exciting. You know, we just did that for the Big Mike Tirico event, so we'll finish the year with doing the same charity again. So that's it. So everybody go online and prepay so that you guys can come to the holiday party.
Great. Yeah, thank you. Boy, this mic being good. Okay. Well, we're going to introduce Ross in a second. Okay, one more thing is we are a 501c3 non-profit. So the way that we pay our dues is we pass the hat. We do it old school. You're welcome to donate. It's suggested $3 donation that goes to cover expenses for the group. And so that's nice. We just passed the hat around. Just to give you an idea of the format of this meeting, speaker talks for approximately 30 minutes. There's usually time for Q&A, and then we pass the mic at the end and everyone gets to introduce themselves. And we always start at noon and finish at 1. So that gives you an idea of format. I'm going to see if they can bring an extra table in the back and some chairs so that you guys can all sit down comfortably. And but we have a great speaker today, which is probably why we have such a nice crowd. Ross Johnson. Ross was at the first LA2M meeting. Ross has been around for a long time. He's a good friend, and he's going to tell us some really important things about how to improve our website success, which I think we all care about. So Ross Johnson, CEO of 3.7 Designs, and if you could please give him a big round of applause. Thank you.
Okay, there. So, thank you. I'm Ross Johnson, 3.7 Designs. And what we're going to learn about today is how to double your website success, a little known secret, or also what I like to call how to learn to stop worrying and love the web. Not the training or things out there. But ultimately, my name is Ross Johnson. I'm a designer by trade. I'm also CEO of a company, 3.7 Designs, here in town. Our office is just a couple doors down. I also affectionately call myself the janitor because it's a small company, so I end up doing a lot of the small things like cleaning up. But I'm also a blogger, and I teach at Washington Community College, an internet professional program. So I try to do a lot of things related to the web. But if you think that I might look a little familiar, it's actually because I am a movie star. Before starting my company, I did have a very successful career in film. Most notably of which is with local star Jeff Daniels. We did a movie together that I got a lot of attention for my role as Media Frenzy. And the movie that I'm talking about is Super Sucker. Despite its name, it's not a pornography. I do recommend you watch it because it's quite funny. It has nothing to do with porn, so it is family safe, sort of. But it did lead to a BSC in 2002 when the movie was released. So this is kind of a big deal. I'd like to talk about it. And a BSC, if you're not familiar with the Oscars, is Best Supporting Extra. And this is one of my most famous scenes. You might recognize it if you've seen the movie, but there I am, right there. Here are the credits listed as Media Frenzy. So you can see I decided to take a step back from this whole movie star lifestyle to work on websites, which I think is a little bit more exciting. And so I founded 3.7 Designs in 2005, 3 years after this kind of big thing. And we are a design strategy company. And that means that not only do we think about how should your website look and what's the best visual image that we could portray, but what should be the strategy behind it, meaning how can we craft this site or your identity or your materials in such a way that it actually provides measurable results. And that kind of ties into what we're going to be talking about today in terms of increasing the performance of your site success. But you might have seen our work before. For example, The Real Deal is the new site, or part of Andover.com. You might have come across that. We helped them. You might recognize it. Some of our work from the LA2M website, or one of our more famous sites, MayerFace.com, where you can rate the quality of John Mayer's guitar case. I like the one at the top right. But kind of all that jokes aside, we are here to talk about getting results out of your website. A lot of people invest a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of effort into their websites. And the reason is you want to get something out of it, right? You're not kind of just doing it for fun. Especially kind of more in a business setting, you do have objectives. And there actually is a secret to kind of getting more results out of your website. And very few companies are doing this nowadays. And it's surprising because it's so effective. And most people just don't know about it, and that's kind of the problem. And it's not snake oil. When I kind of came up with the title a couple months ago, I thought it sounded really clever, and I was reading it a couple weeks back and kind of thought, this sounds fake. It sounds like it should be an infomercial. But it does actually work. It's not some weird trick you never actually try. It is something you could start doing right away. But I like to start by saying, who has helped actually plan a website? Raise your hands. Okay, so it seems like most people. This might be, contributing ideas, maybe help building it, maybe help, figuring out what pages should be on there, reviewing it, that sort of thing. So all of you who have done this, you know that there's lots of decisions that have to be made in order for a website to go live. Websites, actually, even simple ones, are incredibly complex. There's a lot of details. There's a lot of things you have to think about and decisions that have to be made in order for that site to become real. And even not deciding on some of these things is actually a decision. Somebody's deciding, even if it's kind of by default. So you might be deciding what content should go on there. What are the colors? What are the layout? What's the focus? What pages do you want to use? What should be the architecture of the site? What imagery? What messaging? What goals? All these things you have to decide. Even if it's a one-page site, somebody has to figure out and decide, this is what we're going to do. And just curious, so some of you who've done this, who've gone through the decision-making process to plan a website, how have you kind of come to those decisions? What swayed you to pick red instead of blue, or use this image instead of that one? Does anybody have any examples?
I worked with a designer named Ross Johnson, and he did it all for me.
Okay, so that's a good one, yeah.
Might be colors sometimes can be offensive to different groups, so you try and make sure that you're using colors for your audience.
Okay, so maybe you're doing some research. You're kind of thinking about color theory or design theory and using those to try and make educated decisions. Any other ideas?
I look at other websites that I like and try to sort of take the best.
Okay, that's a great one. So research, looking at competitors, looking at similar sites, you might see what sort of these things seems like a good idea. So I'm going to kind of continue by telling you an epic tale of conquest in which Company Z needs a website. And this is kind of a typical way that a lot of companies go about building and planning a website. So the first thing they typically do is they say, we don't want to do it in-house, it's too much work, we don't have the expertise, let's go out and hire like an awesome web design company to do it. Like maybe 3.7 design. Just saying. And that usually leads to a kickoff meeting, right? You decide on a particular company you want to work with. Everybody sits down, and the web company is going to help you walk through that process of making those decisions, right? You're going to talk about some of these things you need to think about. Are there brand colors? What's the goal of the site? What are the users trying to do? Who are you selling to? All these sorts of things that are going to lead to those decisions that need to be made. And typically this is called brainstorming. So right at the beginning, you're coming up with ideas. The company itself who's commissioning the website is probably coming up with these ideas. The web company is probably coming up with ideas. And you're kind of going through these processes and making these decisions to ultimately you get to the part where you come up with the concept. Basically saying this is how we think it should look, this is what it should say, here's the copy, here's how it should work, here's the structure. And a lot of times this becomes a collaborative process, right? Because whatever company you have, your company commissioning it, you're going to know a lot more about your users, your customers, and your business than the web company. And the web company is going to know a lot more about how to build a site a proper way so that it's effective and kind of covers all the important stuff on the website and things. So it needs to be a collaborative process, and that's good. So when they take a look at this, kind of the first concepts, what typically happens is you do a bit more brainstorming. You talk about it. You come up with new ideas and say, okay, well, here's kind of step one. Would it make sense to tweak it? Maybe we should move this button over to the right. Maybe we should try a different color palette. Maybe we should try different messaging. And you get into this process of kind of revising, brainstorming, collaborating, revising, brainstorming, collaborating. And that's all good. So if we were to kind of take a look at an example, maybe the first concept is a page where you want to get people to submit information to get your book printed, a custom book printer. So kind of the main goal of the site is to get people to click on your quote button. If this is the first example, it would be pretty common for someone to say, I think this is a good start, but maybe the button will work better up at the top. Why don't we move it up there? That way it's a bit more visible, it's not below the fold, maybe it looks a little more balanced. For whatever reason, that can be a very common suggestion. And maybe somebody else thinks that orange isn't a bright enough color. It's not visible enough. We really need to grab their attention, so let's select red. And somebody else might point out that red means stop. It means danger in nature. Maybe that's a bad idea. Let's change it to green. And you can kind of keep doing this, moving it all over the place. Maybe you move it to the corner because you think that looks more balanced. Or instead of having an empty book, maybe it would make more sense to have a book that looks printed. And then maybe the button should be close to the text because most people click on your quote now. They're not going to order a book without getting a quote. Or maybe you want to draw more attention to satisfaction guarantee. You can kind of really play with the design and the approach and what you're doing kind of indefinitely. And at some point you might get to this and say, hey, this looks great. I think this is perfect. I really like what we've done here. This looks great to me. Why don't we move forward and talk to the copywriter? So then you bring in the copywriter. And the copywriter, he does a kickoff meeting. And he starts tweaking things. He says instead of, welcome to our shop, let's have a headline that really kind of talks to the emotion point of the people who are visiting the site. And somebody might think that, okay, that's a bit too vague and people might be confused, so they say, let's change it to get your book published, and they might compromise somewhere in the middle between having a headline and a sub-headline that both talks to the emotion and the practicality of things. And then they might kind of cut down on the text and try to make it a little bit more legible and readable. So just kind of in the last minute or so, we've gone through about 10 different iterations of this one page. And they might finish and launch at this point. Animation's fun. And then they might watch the stats, and they might see people are coming, they're clicking on that button, they're seeing success. It's great, right? Everybody should be happy. The website's doing what it's supposed to. They might go back to business. But I want to ask, what's wrong with the picture? What's wrong with this process? Or maybe I should ask, is there something wrong?
It looks like a fairly static site. Like once I get it up, I'm going to say, I'm done.
Okay, that might be part of it. Maybe interactivity is a point, but I'm going to kind of continue by saying something is wrong with this picture. And we can think about it and say that, okay, every detail was discussed. We talked about everything that could be possible with the site that we just launched. We might say that everybody gave their ideas. We might say that everybody gave feedback. That there was 20 people plus. Maybe sometimes you have web groups, people working on a website who are even, bigger than 20 people. They put their mind into it. And you might have hired an awesome company with lots of experience to build it. It seems like you've done everything right at this point. But the question is the website 100% as effective as possible? Do you know? Go ahead.
I think there needs to be some comments from the people who actually go to the site, where they can rate it or blog it.
You're heading in the right direction, so hold that thought. So essentially, you don't know. You spend all this time to try 10 different iterations. You have no idea if the website is as effective as it possibly could. Even if you're employing tracking tools that are showing you that it is, getting people to fill out that quote form to get those books printed, you have no idea if that's as effective as it could be. What it comes down to is 99% of all websites are planned and built using the best guess method. That design that we ended up at the very last stage was just a guess. You guessed at what copy would be most effective. You guessed at what placement would be most effective. You guessed at what color would be most effective, what image would be most effective. It's all a guess. And for all we know, that very first design that I showed you could be more effective than the very last one. See, the website planning process has become a very subjective thing, even though it has very concrete results. So we guess what color should be used. We guess what layout should be used. We guess what copy, what imagery. We all guess what works best when there will be something. I'm going to hold more questions to the end. We're going to guess all these things, what will work best, even though there is going to be a color that's more effective. There's going to be an image that's more effective. There's going to be copy that's more effective. And instead we guess. And because ultimately you are not the user. Even if you perfectly fit into the demographic of somebody who would purchase or use the product, the mere fact that you're helping plan that website means you're too close to it to actually provide an objective opinion. In most cases, you're not even that. You're trying to put yourself in the shoes of somebody else, which you can't do. You can't do accurately. And everything you think you know about the user is probably wrong. If anybody here has sat in on usability tests and seen what an average user does versus what you predict they would do, it's completely different. And most of the time, that's you've selected the person who you think is your user, and a lot of times they aren't. Because the users aren't usually who you think they are. Which means if you think they're young, blonde, attractive, like Paris Hilton, or they might be more like Larry King, old and creepy. And they do things differently than you would think. And they have different reasons for needing your product than you think. And every demographic, every industry, every situation, every season, every psychographic is different. So you can't use experience. Even myself as a company that designs websites, if I designed a site for two companies that are essentially producing the same sort of product or service, they're going to be marketing to different people. They're going to have different unique selling positions. There's going to be kind of differences between the two where I can't just use my experience and say, okay, in this case, I know we need to use the color green. Or I know we need to say this in order for it to be effective. Because it's always going to be different. And we have no way of knowing. We're not Nostradamus. We're not a psychic. You can't just guess and just expect that you're going to have the best solution. So I ask, is planning this way crazy? Yeah. I mean, most people will admit that their website is one of the most important marketing tools that they have nowadays. And they might spend tens of thousands of dollars into it. And what essentially they put up is $10,000 worth of a best guess. But no one really questions it. And that's okay. Because until now, we didn't really have a choice. If you think about traditional media and the way that we used to market, it was really expensive to create. And there's actually really barely any way to tell how successful it was. So you think about TV and print and radio and display and direct mail. Okay, so TV, you're going to shoot, 5 commercials and see which one works better and then try and air them all? I mean, it'd be great if we had that kind of budget, but who does? And then even then, how do you know which one's more successful? I mean, usually with TV or print, they give you an estimated number of impressions. Oh, we think 5,000 people looked at it. But for all they know, it could have been 2 or it could have been 20,000. And even then, you don't know, was this ad more effective than the other one? Because all they tell you is how many people probably looked at it. And it's expensive to create, change, and alter. We can't track it. It's expensive to change. What else can we do? We can't really do anything. Now the web, in comparison, it's very easy to make changes. And we have a very, very accurate way to track the success of our websites. So now what we can do is we can do testing. We don't have to know the solution. We can admit to ourselves that we don't know the perfect answer. As somebody who does web design all the time, I can admit to say, I don't know for sure that this is more effective than something else. And that's okay. Because that means once you admit that, you can actually start testing, you can find that perfect solution. And usually, the small changes that can have significant impact, there'll be no way of knowing. They're tiny. The only way to tell is if you actually did some of these testings. You made a small change and see what worked better. So I'm going to go through a couple case studies. These are real, actual case studies that were submitted to a website online, and they showed kind of the before and after and the results that came out of it. So if we look at this site here, here's a competitor to QuickBooks. You can use their software online to manage your finances and stuff like that. And you can tell they put a lot of time and detail into selecting the graphics, making a nice layout, choosing nice colors. They probably spent a lot of time thinking about the text here and that sort of thing. So it's not like they just kind of threw it up willy-nilly. Now they made a tiny change where they moved the call to action button to try our free accounting to the right, and they saw a 13% increase in the amount of people who actually use that website. How could you predict that that would be more effective? It's almost counterintuitive. Why would putting it to the right make a difference? But it did. And the only way you would have ever found that out is if you actually did test it and saw those results. Here's another example. Here's a web host where they want people to sign up and use their website hosting. Again, they put a lot of attention to the graphics. They probably talked about that globe graphic for a long time. They probably talked about the bullet points and the headlines and what they should say and the color scheme for a long time. They decided on this. And they found that switching the globe for a lock saw a 204% increase in conversion rate. Again, how would you predict that? If they changed one graphic, they saw a 200% increase in the amount of people who signed up for the service. And they would have never known that. They could have been getting great sales before. But they decided to do a task, do something small, see would this work better or worse, and they found out that they could be making that much more money. Now here's an interesting one. Here's a site where they decided they wanted to make it less attractive. They took away that top blue bar and made the colors more gray and saw a 50% improvement in conversion rate. Now if you were to subjectively show two people those designs, they would probably pick the one with the blue bar because it looks more interesting. But by actually looking at the data, seeing how people behave when it actually was going on, that's when you can see a 50% increase in conversion rate. So essentially what we're talking about is testing online. Now there's a couple different forms of testing on your website and testing online, and we're going to stick to what's called A/B testing versus multivariable testing, which is a bit more complicated. Because A/B testing you can start doing right now. You can go back and contact your web team, or if you do it yourself, you can start doing A/B testing right away. And this is really what I'm encouraging you to do. Now I'm going to tell you the theory behind doing it rather than the technical side of things. Because the technical side of setting that up is a bit more complicated. I don't think it's the place for this talk. Really what I want you to take away now is that you should be thinking about testing. So the idea between A/B testing is you're going to take a very important page on your site. Maybe it's the contact page, maybe it's a product page where you're trying to get people to add it to your cart. And you're going to change one thing. You're going to make a duplicate of that page, you're going to change this one thing. So that might be the headline, it might be an image, it might be the text somewhere, it might be the color, it might be the layout. Really, it could be anything. So you're going to have two versions of that page now. The original, and you're going to have one that has that tiny change. Then you're going to send 50 of the people who try to go to that page to the original, and 50% of the people to the new one. And then you're just going to watch. You're going to see which performs better. Whichever one performs better, you adopt that as the new one. And you make another small change. So maybe if you change the image before, the next time around you're going to change the headline. And what will end up happening is your site will continue to improve over and over again over time. You'll find that one image works better than the other. That here's the headline that really works well. And here's the color that works well. And here's the layout that works well. And it's just that simple. It's actually pretty easy to do once you get it set up and start going. And it's something that should be adopted into any website at this point. The big companies are already doing it. Amazon.com is always testing things. Target is always testing things. It's funny, I was talking to a friend a couple of days ago, and he said that he noticed that. He had pulled up Target on one computer and somebody else had it on another, and it was a completely different website. So there's these big companies out there that are already doing these testing. But it seems like a lot of the other companies, they're missing the boat, even though you don't have to have a huge site like Target in order to take advantage of this sort of thing. But let's talk about how you can start testing today. So if you saw this and decided that, you know what, I want to get more out of my website, I can't imagine anybody wouldn't. I mean, even if your website's doing great, if I came up to you and said, yeah, you can make more money off it, or you can save more time, or you can get better leads, would you say, nah, I'm good? Probably not, right? So I encourage you to start thinking about testing, and it's actually pretty simple to go through the process and get ready to start testing. The first step is to actually define a goal. Again, your site has a reason for being online. And it's not uncommon to be in a situation where you don't even really think about, okay, what's the site there for? Am I trying to get more leads? Am I trying to increase sales? Do I want people to sign up for my email newsletter? Do I want more trial signups? Do I want people to download my white paper? There's got to be a reason your site's online. And if you don't have that goal, that ultimate thing you want people to do once they get to your site, then you can't do testing because you have to be able to track how successful it is. So the first step is figure out what do you want people to do? What's the goal? And from that point, you can actually say, okay, if the goal is to make a sale, then we know that a user converted or they achieved that goal when they've gone through the sign-up process. The next step is to decide what to test. So there's two parts to this. First, you have to select an important page that is relevant to that goal that you want to test to see that you can improve upon. For example, if your goal is to get more leads, you're probably not going to try and tweak the careers page. You're probably going to tweak the About Us or maybe the contact page or the services page. If your goal is to sell a product, you're probably going to tweak that product page. And then decide what you need to alter. And this really could be anything. There's no harm in trying any piece of the website to tweak. But you're going to select that one item that you want to tweak. And it could be the image, it could be the headline, it could be the color, it could be the placement. You might want to start with areas you think could be improved upon. But over time, you're just going to get to a point where you're going to do some of the more arbitrary things, like switch the button over to the right side, even though it doesn't seem like that should make a difference. And then start measuring. So hopefully all of you have some sort of website reporting on your site. If you don't, use Google Analytics. It's free. It does a great job. You can set it up so it will tell you specifically how many people have performed that action on your site that you want them to perform, whether it's contact you or purchase a product. And you can even tie it back to how did they get to your site in the first place. If you get a lot of phone calls, there's actually phone tracking software where they can track if somebody calls you from a particular page on your site, so you can kind of track it that way as well. But you actually have to measure it in order to know which one performs better or not. And then send traffic to the site. People actually have to go to it, behave on the site like they normally would, so you can see which is working better. And you do want to split the traffic equally. So there's a tool out there called Google Website Optimizer that will do that for you. Again, I'm not going to go into the technical details of how to set that up. There's a lot of information online. If you do want to know how to do that yourself, or you can contact me. I can help you or point you in the right direction. But that's a great tool for kind of performing these sorts of tasks. Now, the important part about sending traffic and then analyzing the data is that you have to make sure that it's a significant amount of people who came to your site. So if you're going to try and make a conclusion based off of 5 people who came to your site, it's really just not enough information to really make any sort of accurate conclusion. So Google recommends at least 100 people achieving that goal that you're trying to get before trying to make any sort of assessment. And you might even want to do longer than that. And then just analyze the data. Which page performed better? Is it a significant amount? I mean, if you're looking at 1 to 2% increase in performance, maybe it's negligible. It's just kind of the people who had ended up showing up there. If it's significantly more, then you know that this is the page that's working better. We should adopt that. We should then try tweaking something else and kind of repeat this process over and over again. And over time, your site's just going to perform better and better. It'll make you more money. It'll send you better leads. It can cut down on tech support time. It can really do anything you want because over time you're going to find that perfect formula of what's the right headline, what's the right copy, what's the right image. And it doesn't make sense to stop at any point either because it's easy to do, so it's not terribly expensive. And also, as time changes, so does the way people behave online. So even if you found the perfect solution today, 3 months from now, people might be behaving differently online, and it makes sense to do some more testing at that point to see, maybe because of the way the world's changed, we should change the headline of the picture here. And what you'll find is, these very small variations that can create really big results. It usually doesn't take much, but because you're tracking, you can see that, maybe adding a period someplace instead of, a comma can make a big difference. Or maybe having a picture of like a child versus a mother makes a huge difference. I'll go through a couple more quick examples. Here is a web design directory where essentially what they wanted to do is get web design companies like my own to come here and advertise with them, get listed in their directory. And they found that just by changing the text of advertising up in the top right, saw a 41% increase in the amount of people who signed up. So they changed it to add your company, and they increased the revenue by 41%, maybe even more, depending on what levels people signed up on. And again, that's the sort of thing where most people, they would throw the site up, they'd say, hey, people are signing up, this company's doing great, why bother? But by doing a small test of changing text, they found that they could increase their sign-ups by 41%. Now here's another design. I think the design looks great. They probably spent a lot of time on it. They probably spent a lot of time thinking about the text. If someone were to show me this, I wouldn't say that there's anything necessarily that I think needs to be done to it. It looks good to me. But just by tweaking the text, they didn't even change the message. They just changed how they wrote it. They saw a 92.8% improvement in text, or in the amount of people who signed up for and purchased this. And I read through both texts of the before and the after, and I wouldn't have been able to say that one definitively is going to work better than the other, but 92.8% is huge. You can't argue that kind of numbers, but nobody would be able to know. And that's where this best guess method is just simply ineffective. Now here's another example where I don't know exactly what they're selling, but they're selling something. And so here they obviously want you to get started now, so this is the green button up here. And the color fits in with their overall design. It certainly fits their brand. I wouldn't say they need to be changed. Now they changed it to red, which doesn't fit with the design at all. It doesn't fit with their brand colors. It does mean stop or danger in nature, all these reasons that you might think to not use red. But they saw a 21.4% improvement in the amount of people using their service. So again, a very small change just by changing to red. And the green might have been working fine, but it wasn't working as well as the red. And the only way for you to really have known that is to have tried it, to have done this test. So ultimately, what I hope you take away from kind of this idea and this discussion is that you can use experience for a baseline. You can use intuition. You can use kind of your best guess, as I call it, and that's fine because you do have to start somewhere. But I've done these projects before where there's a lot of time and money spent and just tweaking, just changing where things are, moving to the right, moving to the left, changing the copy 5, 10, 15 times over, trying different colors, and ultimately all it comes down to is different people's opinions on something that's definitively will not work better, but they have no idea. And instead, don't overthink and don't overanalyze. Get what you're working on to a point where it's ready to go. It can go online. It might not be perfect, but we know at this point it's not going to be perfect. You'd have no way to make it perfect because you don't know. And instead of wasting that time and that money arguing and maybe not arguing or debating or trying these different things, just put it online now and test and definitively find out would it work better in the right or on the left or green or blue or red. Because what will end up happening is you'll get your site online quicker, it'll perform better quicker, it'll save you money because you're not going to spend the extra time and effort, kind of and the extra 50 hours of trying to go over these different things, and your site will work better as well. So instead, just test, test, test. Get your site up, decide what you want to test, start running some tests, analyze the data, see what works, and just kind of keep going. Because in the end, what you'll find out is that you'll find a combination that for sure works amazing. And that doesn't mean that it wasn't working great to begin with, but it could be 10 times what it was to begin with. So I encourage you to take your website now, and thank you.
We have time for questions because Ross ran through that and it was perfect timing. So who has time? Who has a question for the web guy here? All right.
Hey Ross, all those examples showed that it increased no matter what you did, right? You must have some examples where it went down, right? Otherwise, it's just the Hawthorne effect.
Right. No, that's a good point. And I meant to mention that yeah, what you might see is that one version did perform better than the other. But you probably want to know definitively that what you had was working versus another one. And you're going to run into situations where, yeah, you change the headline, it doesn't resonate. You change the image and it doesn't resonate, and that's okay. Because for every couple you try that don't work, you might find one that really does. I've seen plenty of examples where, yeah, it went down.
What's the baseline as far as price point to get a website started or get it up? And then what's the highest you've seen, I guess?
Ooh, okay, so I'm going to make this really difficult for you. I've seen as low as $100 and as high as millions. So it really depends on who you're going with and their experience, what you're doing. I mean, you think about Facebook, they built a website and they probably spent hundreds of millions. And Intuit.com will let you create your own website for $100. So it could be anywhere. Sorry, that's probably not helpful.
Well, someone like you.
Someone like me, you're probably looking at $10,000 to start.
Since a lot of people are now using blog platforms like WordPress as their website, is there a way to still do an A to B test on the blog platform?
Yeah, actually, so the Google Website Optimizer, there's a plugin specifically for WordPress. But as long as you have the ability to create additional pages, like a variation of a page, you could use Google Website Optimizer.
Okay.
So yeah, in any of the major content management systems, Drupal, WordPress, Joomla, you can do this sort of test.
Would you always recommend 50-50, or could you test multiple things at the same time?
That's kind of getting more into the multivariable testing. That's a great question. So you can make it more complicated, where you test more than one thing at once, and you try a couple different variations. But to start, I would always recommend starting with A/B testing until you get the hang of it. And then once you kind of get experience doing that, you can kind of move on to the more complicated. You're going to test this headline with this image, and then this headline with another image, and you can kind of do as many variations as you want.
I have a question. So it seems like, Ross, you're saying that building a website is more than just building a website. It's not like, you meet one night, you build a website, you never see that person again. You're kind of talking about a longer-term relationship with the web development partner to improve performance. Is that kind of one of the points?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it kind of extends beyond just the website, but also any sort of marketing that you're doing. Because any sort of digital online marketing these days, you can perform the same sort of testing. So rather than setting up a campaign or website and doing it over the course of a month or two and saying, okay, we're done, let's not think about it, you can be continually tweaking your website and your campaign to see what's working best. And what you'll end up doing is spending less money and getting better results, which I think everybody would enjoy. If you don't, sorry.
Any more questions from the esteemed audience? Okay, here we go, sir.
Yeah, Ross, how do you come up with a best guess for what the variant should be? Because, if you pick a bad one, those people you redirect to that page, you're losing some.
Yeah, there is a bit of a risk. But, done over time and done right, you're going to recoup that much more than you'd lose it. So there's some good places to start. There's kind of the areas of the site that are going to have the biggest impact. The headline, so the big text, that's one of the first things people are going to see. If you have kind of a strong, bold image, that's going to be one of the first things people see. And what's interesting enough, if anybody here does Facebook ads, there's been a bunch of tests with Facebook ads, and what they found is that 90% of the success of the ad had nothing to do with the headline or the text, but the picture that was used. So the imagery can be really, really effective.
What was the best picture, the most effective picture? Can we talk about that here?
Yeah, so what was found, this is data, I didn't come up with this, but across all ages, across all genders, pictures of attractive women far outperformed any other picture on Facebook, even to other women for whatever reason. The call to action button is another thing you want to tweak, so that button that you want people to see and to click on that next step. So those are the three areas that I would test. And then you can kind of move into placement and body text and that sort of thing.
All right, so we got a big group, so we're going to go into introductions. Let's give Ross one big round of applause. We're going to start up here with the young gentleman in the front row and just pass the mic to your friend. Stand up when you introduce yourself and give us your name, your company, and briefly what you do, and then pass it along. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Scott Watchman. I work for eSearchVision.com. We're a SEM platform provider handling online advertising campaigns for various companies.
I'm Jeremy Verbit. I work with Scott actually eSearchVision, as he said, search engine marketing. So if you're interested in that, give us a look up at eSearchVision.com.
Hi, my name is Amy Gillette, and I work for the UMN William Davidson Institute, Emerging Markets Education.
I'm Susan Harris. I'm a tech writer. I'm looking for people who are on Twitter from Ann Arbor, who are active, not just looking. So if you feel like mentioning it to me or to everyone, please. I'm AA writer. Charming, huh?
Hi, I'm Jacob Smith from Go Green Energy Consulting. We're a home energy evaluation and energy upgrade company based in Lansing. The 30% energy efficiency tax credit expires at the end of the year, so if you're even remotely considering any energy upgrade work, we highly recommend that you do it now, whether or not you use it.
I'm Jim Campbell from ExcitingProductions.com, and we help people get more leads with video.
Hi, I'm Dr. Rob Bohr with Bohr Family Chiropractic, and we specialize in keeping your spine from getting on your nerves.
Hi, I'm Jane Delancey of Delancey Design, and we do graphic design services for all kinds of marketing needs. Recently, we worked on trade show displays, and so that's one thing we focus on is making you look good when you're doing a presentation or going up to a trade show. DelanceyDesign.com.
I'm John Gauss. I'm Marketing Services Manager for King Engineering Corporation. We manufacture King Gauge liquid level tank gauging systems.
I'm Denise Kennedy. I also work with John at King Gauge, and I do marketing and graphic design and work on our website, kinggauge.com.
My name is Beth Stephanie, and my company is a Lariat Group, where I do web optimization, and my specialty is working with local companies that are working on the local market, using the web to drive customers locally.
I am Jill Wagner. I'm a partner at Wagner Design Associates. We're a creative marketing firm that specializes in big ideas and big results on the web or traditional advertising, collateral material, identity material.
I'm Kathy Szynski, a marketing consultant, currently working with RJ Conlon, Marketing and Design in Ann Arbor, and also doing some teaching assistant work at Eastern Michigan University in the Integrated Marketing Communications program.
I'm Bob Shannon. I'm a local CPA, and I specialize in helping entrepreneurs with all their headaches with accounting, finance, and taxes.
I'm Roger Rail. I'm an information consultant, and I will help make your ideas work.
Hi, my name is John Porter. I'm looking for new opportunities, and I enjoy these weekly meetings here for providing a lot of good ideas for me to work further on.
I'm Jackie Kilburn. I own the company Jump In. We specialize in therapy for children and adults who have sensory processing or learning issues, and we also sell a line of products that help with sensory processing issues.
I'm Marcia Haar. I'm a psychotherapist in practice here in Ann Arbor. I specialize in trauma recovery and helping people achieve their dreams.
Hi, I'm Julie Bromberg. I'm with Bromberg & Associates. We're a translation and interpretation company providing our services in over 150 languages, and we do everything related to languages, from interpreting to translation to bilingual staffing solutions. And we actually recently published a book called Bird in the Hand. which is a collection of proverbs in 7 languages.
Hi, I'm Tom Crawford. I run a business called Viz Network, and we help people communicate better using the visual arts. In our current project, we're actually creating a new iPad app that will be coming out in a few weeks to help you cook better in the kitchen using all visuals. I'm looking for a writer to help with some of the content, so please come see me if you're in that field.
Hi, excuse me. Hi, I'm Bob Ferran. I own Bob Ferran Photography, and I do commercial and advertising photography for ad agencies and corporations.
Hi, I'm Jackie Farah. I work for the Dental Advisor. I'm their database administrator, and I manage their CMS on the web.
I'm Wayne Anker. I'm a web developer specializing in Drupal-based websites.
Hi, I'm Lindsay, and I'm a graphic designer and web developer, and I'm CEO of Vet Media. So if Ross is busy, you can talk to me too.
Hi, I'm Kai Bloom. I do research and marketing at MSL Group.
Hi, I'm Casey Freshour with Clarity Quest Marketing. We specialize in internet marketing for technology companies.
Hi, I'm Rich Austin with Sailor Training, and help business owners remove a lot of the manufactured barriers that they have that keep them from doing the behaviors that they should be doing to make them successful in their business. Do that through empowerment and reinforcement training, but I'm guessing that nobody here could ever use any of that.
I'm Molly Dargan. I'm an intern at Ingenix Digital Marketing and a senior at Michigan State. Hi, Tiffany Reisner. I work at Ingenix. I do their interactive marketing. I think last week I talked about the Glenlivet tasting at Weber's, and we had such a good success. We had people from LA2M come, we had people from Facebook come, so it's really exciting. So I'm going to tell you about the New Year's Eve party at Weber's that they're hosting. It's going to be a blast for all you couples out there. It's a really nice place you can go that's not too party hardy, so it's going to be a really good time. Go up to webersin.com and check it out.
I'm Frank Johnson. We own Robertson Morrison Heating and Cooling, and be looking forward to working with Ross to improve our website.
I'm Vincent McGowan from the company Mac Canopy, MACANOPY.com. We're presently setting up to relocate in Ann Arbor. We're the company that produced the backlit canopy at Colosso's printing there at Stadium in Arbordale next to the main post office. Our website is www.maccanopy.com.
Hi, my name is Jim Overbeck, and my company's 401 Systems, and we're the hospital scheduling guys. Next time you're sitting there in the gown waiting, think of 401 Systems. Tell the doctor.
Hello, I'm Phil Callahan. I work for the National Center for Manufacturing Sciences, and I'm the Director of IT and Communications there.
Hi, I'm Steve Califf, and I provide CFO consulting for early stage companies, so part-time CFO, fundraising strategy, cash flow forecasting, and I am looking for a president or a CEO of an entrepreneurial company. Thanks.
My name is Maria. I'm a founder of Head Route Advertising and Technology. We are a web design and creative advertising company, which is international but located in Ann Arbor.
Amy Brambo, Director at Orange Egg Advertising, and we're a virtual full-service ad agency in town.
I'm Dave DeWitt from Advanced Marketing Services in Livonia. We provide a combination of effective and efficient print and advertising marketing services. And if you don't have your free wall calendar yet, come stop by.
Hi, I'm Amy Ma. I'm starting a website for publishing children's books in multiple languages.
My name is John Borhorst. I'm a self-employed business consultant here in Ann Arbor. I'm also a senior advisor to a startup company called Auto Harvest, which is a global portal for the dissemination of intellectual property in the automotive sector and adjacent markets. Thank you.
Good afternoon. John Walker, A Production Carpet Care and Property Restoration Services.
We specialize in carpet cleaning, fabric cleaning, as well as disaster cleanup, usually due to water damage. As the holidays are coming up, you wouldn't know anyone who would need their carpet cleaned before or after a party, would you? If you do, see me.
Hi, I'm John Patz. I'm with Downhills Farms. We're a property management and land development company.
Hello, I'm Brian Hogue from Hoover Street Auto in Ann Arbor. And I love your A/B testing, but we won't apply that to your car maintenance.
Hi, Ian Sachs from Profit Makers, and I know everybody who's here is good at something, but you're not good at everything. And that's what I help you do better.
I'm Noelle Motawi. I own Motawi Tile Works, an artisanal ceramic art tile maker here in town. Just want you to know that we have an amazing event Saturday. It's the big tile extravaganza, overrun, second sale, tours, and make tile. Please come visit us on Saturday. And do your shopping at motawi.com, MOTAWI.com for your Christmas shopping.
Hi, I'm Jessica Husted, and I'm with Ann Arbor Radio. We have 4 radio stations here in the area, W4 Country, 107.1, WTKA, and WLBY. We're looking for businesses that want to get the word out to people here in the community. And I also wanted to let you know that right now through Sunday, we have our annual Rockin' for the Hungry for 107.1 at the Kroger's on Maple. So if you have non-perishable food items you'd like to take over there, that would be great.
My name is Jeff Yoder. I work for a company called Tech A2. We do local IT support. Right now we're offering a free 45-minute consultation if you're interested. You can visit us at techa2.com. Fill out a short form and we'll get back to you. Thank you.
Yes, good morning or good afternoon. I'm Brian Royster, Edward Jones. I'm a financial advisor, and what I do is I help individuals, business owners, professionals, and retirees properly employ money to become and remain wealthy predictably. I do that by helping them guard against 4 things. That is retirement inflation, rising interest rate, declining interest rate, and also so you can tax-free income, federal, state, and local level. My tip for today is this. If you're thinking about selling stock and getting capital gains, you may want to consider doing it this year because they may raise your taxes next year.
Hello, I'm Lori Darmy, and I'm a sales representative for a Hatteras printing company, and I also have a calendar. And our company specializes in a lot of digital printing and mailing services.
I'm Kyle Stoof. I'm also with Ann Arbor Radio. I think Jessica did a good job. I wanted to highlight also on our sports talk station, WTKA, we have Adopt a Family going on right now. So far we've helped 80 families have a better Christmas. And so listen to the Michigan Insider every morning on TKA. And how about a family?
Hi everybody, you know I'm Stacy from Dollar Bill, the local digital print firm, and I just wanted to remind you again to go right back to your office and sign up for the holiday party.
Hi, I'm Ted Belding, Belding Consulting. I help clients understand and solve complex problems using things like data mining, computer simulation, and optimization techniques.
Hello, I'm Judy White with Scribe Communications. I'm a copywriter and editor, and I help clients attract customers and explain what they do in a very clear way, and ideally get people to keep coming back. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Julie Vandewater. I don't know if I can really stand up and box in the corner, but no, it's okay. I don't want to trip. I work for Alien Software here in town. I work on the website and the marketing, and we sell various information manager and list manager type apps for mobile devices, Windows, and Mac.
Hi, my name is Susan Hunsberger. I'm a professional organizer. My company is Strategize Organize, LLC. I work with people's paper, things, and space in residential and also educational settings.
I'm Kim Cachadorian. I am a marketing person currently in transition. Geekymarketer.com. By the way, I'll plug Brian's place, Hoover Street Auto, great place. It's in my neighborhood. And also, I have recently, in the last few months, started a blog called Jobs in A2. So it's jobsina2.com, and it basically focuses on jobs in Ann Arbor or within a
our radius, but not in Ohio.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Little with Superior HR Solutions. I help companies maintain HR compliance with all the employment laws, keep owners out of jail for violations. I don't suppose anybody's concerned that their employment files might be incorrect.
Hi, my name is Nicole and I work for Huron Valley Ambulance Lifelink, and in case you're wondering what that is, it's the handy little button you wear around your neck. I've fallen that I can't get up. So if you push our button, we will be called to action to help you or a loved one. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Joyce Williams, Public Affairs Manager with Huron Valley Ambulance. We're your local nonprofit ambulance service.
Hi, I'm Carter Sherwin from Print Studios, and I'm a commercial, editorial, and portrait photographer.
Okay, and I'm Derek Marabon, CEO of Ingenix Digital Marketing. We do web design, search optimization, social media type stuff, you name it. But well, I wanted to comment, what a diverse crowd here today. This is a really, really nice crowd. And truthfully, I hope all of you will go out and invite your friends and come back December 15th for the big party. Because not only is that money all going to go to Peace Neighborhood Center, all the money we make that day, but it's going to be fun. I mean, Congress does a great buffet. There'll be lots of people here. It's from 11:30 to 1. You can do it at your lunch hour. It's going to be a really fun, festive environment. So it'd be awesome to see you all back, including a lot of you new people that I'm really glad you came. The other thing I want to mention is Friday night is Midnight Madness in Ann Arbor. So come on out. All the stores are open until midnight. It's really fun. Hopefully it'll be snowing, Christmas decorations, music. I love going out. I go to Carytown that night with the family, and there's just so much going on, or Main Street. And so bring the family out for that. It's this Friday from like 6 till midnight. There's like huge sales. And so I'm going to hand it over to Dee Davey to close us off.
I am Dee Davey, Creative Ideas Marketing. I'm an independent marketing contractor, and I help overstretched and under-resourced marketing teams get key projects off their desk without the investment of a full-time resource. It's my pleasure to announce next week's speaker as well. We have Kai from MSNL. One of the original founder members of Lunch Ann Arbor Marketing some years ago, and he's coming next week to talk about search engine optimization. So see you next week at Lunch Ann Arbor Marketing, 8th December. See you then.